So listen to what the CEO of Palantir Technologies said. I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts that try to screw us, says the CEO of Palantir Technologies. Oh yeah. So this is Westward. This is an article from March 2nd, 2025. When asked to describe his lower purpose, CEO Alex Karp of Palantir Technologies, the Denver-based big data and AI analytics company, said, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts that try to screw us. His February 21st statement, part of a promotional book tour in support of his New York Times bestseller, The Technological Republic, echoed calls for violence against the enemies of the nation and company, which he excitedly expressed during Palantir's January earnings call. Coming from the leader of a firm that supports the Army, FBI, and Space Force with critical enemy targeting infrastructure, these remarks are highly disturbing and run afoul of the principles of tolerance, freedom, and democracy of our state. It's because they don't believe in that. I mean, does anybody read? Palantir was the eye of Sauron. God, people don't read. They just don't read, I guess, fantasy books like I do. Days later, on February 25th, just as Donald Trump posted a gruesome AI-generated movie of Gaza with Trump hotels and golden idols of the president, Karp's executive partner, Shyam Sankar, COO of Palantir Technologies, publicly targeted and condemned an ABC reporter for a piece she hadn't even published yet, supposedly critical of Karp. Sankar accompanied his post with a more favorable headline in the Wall Street Journal, adorned by a signature of Donald Trump and a congratulatory message that read, Alex, great! The admiration is mutual. Sankar confirmed, it is true that Alex is wildly supportive of Elon Musk and Doge and very happy with the direction of Trump's foreign policy. Like Elon Musk, whose net worth has increased nearly 80% since Trump was elected, the founders and officers of Palantir, including Peter Thiel, a prominent J.D. Vance and Trump donor, stand not only to profit immensely from the chaos sown across our democratic systems of governance by Musk's Doge, but also by the escalation of warmongering rhetoric, the spread of fear in the media, and the coming wave of techno-fascism in America. They have used the state of Colorado to set the stage for an ultimate marriage between the federal government and the tech sector, the union of the state and software industry, as Karp writes in his book, and a new Manhattan project that stands to benefit the richest people on earth. Palantir is not the company I thought I joined in 2021, believing, as Karp recently put it in the Wall Street Journal, that its mission was to support Western liberal democracy and its strategic allies. Now, Europe and its people are increasingly viewing the United States as an adversary, thanks to the work of an administration in which Palantir is taking an increasingly important role. With the recent appointment of Gregory Barbaccia, a former intelligence officer and a 10-year veteran of Palantir Technologies, as Chief Information Officer under the Trump administration, the upcoming appointment of another Palantir vet, Clark Minor, to lead data for RFK Jr.'s Department of HHS, Palantir is excellently positioned to shape the application of critical big data and IT infrastructure across the whole government departments, all under an unbridled nationalist administration that has abandoned guardrails for the ethical development of AI. In the past few weeks, Musk threatened to imprison journalists. The administration ordered the collection of biometric data on immigrant children, and allies like Ukraine have been sidelined and humiliated at diplomatic tables, highlighting the need for close attention to this expanding collaboration. Meanwhile, executive powers are being expanded through a barrage of executive orders, and allusions to monarchy are prevalent in the communications of Trump and his allies, challenging the ultimate rule of law and constitutional rights. More recently, fascist gestures and proposals of extending presidential term limits contributed to the concerning narratives at CPAC, and Trump's Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, removed distinguished military leaders at the Joint Chiefs of Staff for discriminatory reasons, replacing them with unqualified loyalists. As chaos unfolds, critical science research programs are left massively defunded, leading to chaos in the scientific community and serious international health and humanitarian crises. Trump just announced mass layoffs at National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, threatening an agency with strong roots in Colorado ahead of imminent weather events and just 3 months before the Atlantic hurricane season is set to start. These are not Western values, let alone American values, that pushed us even further ahead of Europe. The values that sought to preserve the U.S. as an egalitarian democracy which represents freedom for the people from tyrannical rule. These are especially not the values that represent our state of Colorado, which still has the chance of building an alternative to the greedy and domineering culture of Silicon Valley. However, they are the ones that Palantir has chosen to endorse through repeated violent rhetoric and support of this administration. My understanding has been immensely helped by the fact that I've had a seat behind the curtain. Following the coronavirus pandemic, I spent a year and a half working as a writer and graphic designer at Palantir Technologies in its headquarters in Denver. As an English major, I thought I might have had little to contribute to the grand scheme of things, but as reviewers of the Technological Republic and many former employees have recently realized, the key behind Palantir's success and its ability to build an elite, loyal following of engineers and advocates might owe as much to its technical prowess as to its effective marshaling of language and cult-like shibboleths. As Joe Gantz recently pointed out in a scathing review of the Technological Republic, Karp, in both his PhD dissertation theses, curiously titled Aggression in Life World, expanding Parsons' concept of aggression through the description of the relationship between jargon, aggression, and culture, and in his recent writing in the Technological Republic, shows expertise in the kind of propagandist jargon that abjures rational discussion and plays on the aggressive feelings of the crowd. In essence, deploying language manipulatively to confuse and rile up followers and opponents. The Palantir CEO has even gone so far as to describe the company's culture as Germanic. There might still be some time to change course. While the offices of Palantir and the administration were spreading hateful rhetoric on social media last week, 21 members of DOGE resigned in protest, issuing a public letter in support of democracy. We swore to serve the American people and uphold our oath to the Constitution across presidential administrations. However, it's become clear that we can no longer honor those commitments, the staffers wrote in a joint resignation letter, a copy of which was obtained by the Associated Press. The same day, I shared a protest letter calling out Palantir leadership for flagrant violations of its code of conduct, authored with the support and feedback of more than 15 initial supporters, with the Palantir alumni Slack group, the same group in which DOGE was recently caught recruiting. We are, in order to finalize and publish this message, a call for tech workers in Silicon Valley to not be afraid to speak out and act against the actions they perceive as violating principles of democracy, egalitarianism, and human rights. All of these concerning events have placed Colorado, the home of Palantir Technologies, at the center of a fight not only for our democracy, but over the exploitation enabled by the mass adoption of AI technologies in society and warfare. In a state where Mexican and American families have been linked for generations, Palantir and other companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Dell have equipped Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Customs and Border Patrol with the military-grade digital tools they need to commit atrocities along the southern border and the interior. Now they are ready to profit in a program of mass incarceration and deportation of a historical scale that could devastate thousands of our neighbors and their families. This is Palantir, y'all. There's more to this article. There's not much more. I'll do a part 2. This is scary shit, y'all. This is Palantir. This is Peter.